Hello race fans and welcome to the South Boston Speedway here tonight for the iRacing Northwest presented by Joe's Racing Products. The main event here, the race before the Cascade Championship Wrestling Twin 100's here tonight. That field is set, but before we get to those main events, we got to get 8 more drivers into that main event. I'm Justin Kolb alongside Greg Renson. Greg, got to get 8 more drivers in here and only 11 drivers in the field. Only going to have 3 guys going home. A lot on the line here.
Yeah, a lot on the line for this B main. 75 laps coming your way. And it looks like Donovan Barr is getting set to take the green flag right about now.
Yes, he is. And it seemed like someone didn't go back in the pack. It looked like the 69 of Adam Holm, I believe, did not get going on that restart. Check that hole inside line up.
Yeah, not sure what happened there on the initial start. Sorry, Justin, but not sure what happened on the initial start there with the 69. But looks like it's all settled down now as we get a lap under our belt.
Yes, sir. We got one side-by-side battle towards the back. That is the 5 of Brent Holloway and the 2 of Joshua Beal. They're going at it for the 9th spot at the moment. But other than that, everybody single file for the moment. And that checkup really allowed the top 2 to scoot away for the moment. Donovan Barr, your leader at the moment.
And Donovan Barr, he's having a good week. He just won the season-opening Northwest Xfinity Series race at Daytona earlier this year, the Daytona 200 for the Northwest Xfinity Series, which runs on Monday nights. Donovan Barr took home the win in that, so he's looking to keep that momentum going with a win here in this B main tonight.
Trying to ride that high all the way to the A main. In good shape for it at the moment. It does have Brian Lambert slowly closing in on that rear bumper in second. Daniel Masters a good second and a half back of these 2 leaders though.
Yeah, single file so far in this one. Field spreading out rather consistently, the top 2, and then like you said, it's a long ways back to 3rd place, Daniel Masters.
Looking through the field here and a little bit about the South Boston Speedway. Only 4/10 of a mile around here, and lap time's about 15 seconds in race pace. So 75 laps seems like a lot, but it's really going to click by here pretty quickly. It's only going to be about 15 minutes until we get to the checkered should this race remain under green flag racing. And for the moment, everybody clean and green for the moment, so it's looking like that might be possible. Towards the back there, Joshua Beal tried to really dive it into the inside of Chris Walters there in the 24.
Yeah, and you mentioned that this race is going to go quickly, 75 laps. This is your normal race distance in a late model race at South Boston. They typically go 75 laps if they're doing twin mains on one night. So this is a typical South Boston race distance for this B main. There are 75 laps, 40 minutes, whichever comes first. But at the rate that they're clicking these laps off, I don't think that time constraint's going to come into play at all. I think we're going to click these away pretty quickly. We're already 10 laps into this one, working lap 11.
And the one really interesting thing about this racetrack, or at least I've always found interesting, is that apron below. And we do have a wreck in the back. It's the 2 of Joshua Beal spun just at the entrance of turn 3. Possibly some contact. We'll get a replay and check out what happened to that number 2. And I think someone else got the wall.
Taking a look. Oh, he got loose right there on exit and goes around. Holloway, the new driver to the field, number 5, does a great job to avoid that. Heard some extra contact. Not sure what's going on there.
Heard that as well, but looking like nobody else made contact with Joshua and did a really good job, all things considering, just making a little slight contact with the wall and not getting any more damage than that. Just a simple spin, and he was on his way.
So, unfortunate break for Josh Beal. He's on pit road getting adjustments. 12, now 13 laps here in this B main. Josh Beal taking tires in the number 2.
That's very interesting. That's one of the rules here in the Northwest Tour for these super late models is you cannot take tires, and obviously jacks were going up on each side of that super late model, so be interesting to see what comes of that. Did the officials catch eye of that one? He's still sitting in pit road and just went a lap down, so
he's actually 2 laps down now. So We'll see what is. We'll see what comes of it.
Well, lights are off on the pace car, so we're going to go racing once again, this time by Donovan Barr, your leader, Brian Lambert in second, Daniel Masters in third, Ted Shand fourth, Adam Holm fifth. These guys will get a little bit of a regroup here after that first restart was checked up just a little bit, and the two leaders off and rolling.
And Lambert was showing some speed. He was closing the gap in on Donovan Barr before that yellow came out. So let's see what happens. Donovan Barr's car looks a little bit better on the short run. Looks like it takes Lambert's car about 5 or 6 laps to get going, but that was just one restart. We'll see what happens with this one.
Definitely, and one thing they'll have to consider this time is they're going to have a third horse in this race. Really, everybody back in contention with this one. Masters had a little bit of work to do that last round, but once that caution came out, brought him right back into this.
Yeah, a lot of front end damage on that 3 car as well. So that's another thing we're going to have to keep an eye on is the damage on the 3 car of Daniel Masters. Does that affect him at all? Doesn't look to be affecting him right now as he's in third. Kind of hanging tough with the top 2. They're kind of evenly spread out. Then it's a little bit further back to the 13 of Ted Shand.
I think the one thing that he's really going to have to worry about with that car is overheating in that 3 of Daniel Masters. Going to have to watch the temps just a little bit, but that car, like you said, Greg, still looks fast and on the move, trying to get to the front.
Speaking of trying to get to the front, Lambert slowly is catching back up to Barr, and he just made a big move there as Barr went a little bit high. I think he may have washed up the track going into turn number 1. That opened the door for Lambert to get right to the bumper. Barr able to put a little bit more gap between himself and the 52. Let's see what happens this time.
Getting there closer and closer. It looks like we have a battle for the 3rd spot. Ted Shand tried to get underneath the 3 of Daniel Masters, but there might have been some contact. That gap definitely grew between the 3 and 13 through 1 and 2.
Battle breaking out for
Lambert,
Ford
yeah.
as well. Back behind, you saw Lambert making the move, but another white car making a move on a black and green car for Ford. Adam Holm is beginning to make a move on Ted Shand in the 13. 2 laps in a row, Holm has gotten to the inside of Shand going into turn number 1, but both times Shand's been able to shut the door so far.
Barely getting his nose underneath, and that was one of the things I was going to mention before that caution came out. This track, unique in the sense that that apron obviously not out of bounds. It can actually help you get your nose inside or help you get a little bit better turn through the corner. Don't see much of the front runners using that apron towards the back. Saw a few cars trying to use that just to get even a nose underneath that car and try and get there entering the next corner.
Well, Lambert's not using the apron in the 52, but he's using about every inch prior to it, and it's working on entry of both corners, but Barr just seems to be a little bit better on exit, keeping an eye on the top 2, the 9 of Barr and the 52 of Lambert.
And Barr got a little loose exiting that corner down the front straightaway. One thing I've noticed about Donovan Barr these last couple times around is in the corners, gets a little bit higher entering the corner, and then gets that good diamond and gets it really good off-corner exit. So that's where his straightaway speed comes from. But should Brian Lambert get there, he might be able to get the nose underneath Donovan and make this race for the lead really interesting.
We saw that with the race-winning pass in the Monster Energy Cup Series race earlier this afternoon. Oh, trouble! Ted Shand with a big slide off the corner that time. He made the save, but see what happens as Holm has gotten around him. Moved Holm into 4th, Shand back to 5th.
And still looks like he's kind of struggling with that race car at the moment in that middle line, a little bit higher than you'd like to run through the corners, and he's going to do it again, so possibly just trying to move a lane up and seeing what else he can do with that car. I think it's getting pretty dicey back here.
So a tough break for Ted Shand in the 13, but he still sits in the transfer spot. Right now, the transfer spot being held by the 16 of Andy Fuller. Good to see Fuller back in the field. It's been a couple races since the 16 was in the mix.
He's in a four-way battle here.
Actually, I stand corrected. He is in the 8th spot, yeah, he's in the 8th spot. My apologies. Trace Thompson currently holding the transfer spot in the 99.
But is in that fight for the transfer spot. Andy Fuller is. Has to get by 2 cars if he wants to get in, though, through the transfer position.
We're already 35 laps in here. We're working lap 35 of 75, so we're almost halfway through this one already, Justin.
So you can quick off laps so quickly here. Again, about 15 seconds a lap, so it's almost Bristol type pace in a way, just on a flatter surface.
Battle for the transfer spot right now. Sorry, Justin, but a battle breaking out for the transfer spot. Chris Walters got to the inside of Trace Thompson off of turn number 2 that last time by. Wasn't able to make the pass that time, but let's see what happens as he's again making his move off turn 2. He's to the door of Thompson. Let's see what happens here. Heavy damage on the 24 of Walters, but it doesn't seem to be affecting him. 24 into the transfer spot as Thompson catches the wall.
And he's going to keep in the wall. They're going to lose another position to Andy Fuller. Left the door open that last time by off corner number 2. And the 24 was there about 2 laps ago. Couldn't make it stick. That last time he does. And that moves the 24, Chris Walters, into the transfer position. Andy Fuller came through that open door with the 93 getting high, or the 99, excuse me. And now he is 1 position away from that transfer spot.
Now a battle breaking back out up front. Lambert is to the bumper of Donovan Barr. Classic old Dodge versus Ford battle at the front of this one. And that time Barr was able to keep him at bay through that corner, but that corner right there was really, really strong for Lambert last time by. Let's see what happens now as he's kind of backing off, maybe cooling his tires off a little bit to make another charge.
And one thing I see ahead of these leaders is lap traffic. They're going to catch the 33 of Sean not too far ahead of these leaders here. And lap traffic is definitely going to be very interesting to get around here, whether they go high or stay in the line. It's going to be very interesting on how these guys get by.
And they are closing in on lap traffic very, very quickly. I think it's only going to be about a lap and a half, maybe less before they're there. How about less? They're there going into the turn.
And the 33 does give way, goes to that high side, and will stay out of the way of the leaders. Here comes the 3 of Daniel Masters, and he'll leave the lane open for them as well. So trying to steer clear of these battles for position. That didn't check anybody up too badly there.
No, they all made it through there. Donovan Barr continues to lead. He's led every lap thus far, coming to complete lap 45 next time by. As they roll through 3 and 4, 45 in the books, 29 to go. For Donovan Barr, he's led every one of them.
There, now we might have a good battle going on for the 3rd position. Adam Halm all over the back bumper, the 3 of Daniel Masters. Ted Shan not too far behind that as well, but Halm has been on that rear bumper entering the corners these past couple laps.
Masters doing a good job in that 3 car back here in 3rd to keep everyone at bay despite the damage to the 3 car, doing a great job mustering that 3rd, and that's got to give him a little bit of confidence going into the main event, because if he is to hold on and transfer, he did that with a wrecked race car. He's going to have a fresh car going into this first of 2 100-lap mains.
Absolutely, and no telling how long that fresh car will be clean for here at South Boston, but he's going to have a clean car nonetheless, and seeing how well he's doing with that beat-up race car, shouldn't be too worried going into that A main. Battle for the lead heating up just a little bit more. Brian Lambert trying to press that pressure a little bit more, entering the corners. He's getting closer every lap.
He is closing in on Barr in the number 9. And Lambert's still taking just a little bit of a lower entry into the corners than Donovan Barr, so seeing what that 52's got. That time he stayed in the tire tracks of the number 9, so Lambert maybe trying Barr's line out to see if maybe he can use it to his advantage, as that time he goes a little bit lower.
24 laps to go, and if those 2 leaders get battling, Daniel Masters is going to be all over it just behind. He's basically in this mix just about a second behind our leader Donovan Barr, and quickly closing in on that lead. It's probably going to be a 5-car battle before it's said and done here tonight.
Yeah, Daniel Masters has to be licking his chops watching this battle begin to brew up front. Adam Hall and Ted Shan also up there as well. Took a 5-car breakaway at the front of the field. And then in the transfer spot, it's still the 24 of Chris Walters, who's about 0.2 of a second ahead of Andy Fuller. That's another battle that's kind of just the two of them. But I would argue that is the more important battle on the track than the battle for the lead, because that's the battle to get into the main event.
Yes, sir. And as we get closer and closer to that checkered flag falling, next time around it'll be 20 to go. I have a feeling that spot is going to be quite highly contested as we get more laps clicked off here. He gets close in the middle of the corner, Andy Fuller does, just can't quite get it off exit. That's where Chris Walters is able to pull him down the straightaways. Battle for the lead, as we said. Now 3 cars involved in this, as 4th place it's battling side by side. Oh, and Donovan Barr really loose off corner number 4 that time. That allows Brian Lambert to get right to the rear bumper. Daniel Masters right in the tire tracks as well.
Yeah, Masters is closed in, and he's done a masterful job, pardon the pun, of getting there. As Barr again sliding up the track. Boy, that number 9 car so good on exit. And Justin, would it be possible that his sliding up the track is kind of helping him with exit? Because I mean, he's sliding up the track and it's costing him majorly in the turn, or the entry to the turn, but he's able to get a good enough run to kind of compensate for it.
It almost seems like it's helping him sometimes, but then it seems like he just loses the rear end off corner exit. You can see it right there. Gets loose off corner number 4. So it could be a help or a hindrance as we get later and later into this run. The 3 of Masters into the wall.
Oh, Daniel Masters was going for broke off of turn number 2 there, and it bit him, but he was able to settle it back down. Inside of 15 to go. It's a 3-horse race. Ted Shan has gotten back around the 69 of Hall, moved Shan into the 4th spot, and he's beginning to close in on this. This isn't over yet.
I think Masters is experimenting with lines a little bit, and the 9 of Donovan Barr loose off the corner again. I tell you what, with Daniel hitting the wall there, he didn't lose any momentum down that straightaway, and it seems like he's taking a higher line, trying to get out of the air of these 2 leaders and trying to get a better line. Not sure if it'll work here with 13 laps to go, but he's definitely there, and I think we'll be challenging Brian Lambert before it's all said and done. And Ted Shan slowly coming into this mix here with only 12 laps to go.
Yeah, if they're not careful, Ted Shan's going to be challenging all 3 of them. Looks like Ted Shan's running the fastest laps on the track right now as he is closed in. He has officially joined this battle now. Ted Shan is in the mix as well.
But can he do anything? Some contact for the race lead. Donovan Barr gets bumped by the 52 of Brian Lambert. He holds on to it, just a slight tap, but we're getting close to crunch time here. Checkered flag is going to be falling here in about 10 laps, and it's go time now.
4 cars, single file, 4 now. Who makes the first move, Justin? Does Lambert make the move for the win? Does Masters keep his line on the outside? Ted Shan taking a high line? Or do they kind of settle down and just ride it out to transfer in? Do you think anyone is thinking that strategy?
Well, for Brian Lambert, I think it's a bit too early to go. And I think for a lot of these guys, it might be still a bit too early to go. You want to be able to get to the rear bumper and get gone quickly. You don't want them to have a chance to get back to you. As I think with how these guys are racing, how close they're racing, we might just have to see a bump and run for a position pass.
And that bump and run could cost you up to 3 positions if you're Donovan Barr. If Lambert does lay the bumper to him, if he doesn't settle it down real quick, that could drop him all the way to the 4th spot with how close these guys are. And Adam Hall not too far out of the picture, but unless there's caution sometime in the next lap or 2, I don't believe Hall will be able to be a factor, because a caution after about 1 or 2 more laps should end this one.
Yes, sir. 5 laps to go, so this race more than likely going to be over. Gets to the inside. Brian Lambert, I'm not sure what happened to Donovan Barr, but he left that door wide open, and Brian Lambert wasted no time, got to the inside, and for the lead with 4 laps to go, here comes Donovan Barr back at him.
Oh, what a crossover by Donovan Barr, but Lambert finally gets his nose in front of the 9. He's been trying to...
Oh, into the wall!
In the wall! Donovan Barr in the wall off turn 2.
Now it's going to get battled for second for Daniel Masters. I'm not sure what happened to that 9 of Donovan Barr in corner number 2 that left that door wide open, but he's definitely hurting now at this point. He's going to be able to hold on to that second spot with 3 laps to go, but Brian Lambert pretty much setting sail with 2 to go at the line.
Boy, Donovan Barr, I don't know what happened, but he is going to want to work on turns 1 and 2 going into the same main, because we noticed it early on that was where Lambert was going to have to make his move, was corner 1 and 2, and that is exactly what he did.
White flag for Brian Lambert as the battle goes on for second still. Donovan Barr in a heap of trouble there, but through 3 and 4, Brian Lambert with the move to the inside of the 9. He's going to win the B main here tonight. Donovan Barr going to hold on for second spot. Daniel Masters in third.
Ted Stan, Adam Holm, and waiting for 6th. Believe it's going to be Chris Walters. Yes, Chris Walters will hang on to that one.
Well, man, that was a very interesting last couple laps there. I didn't think Lambert was going to be able to make that move, but obviously the door was left wide open, and he wasted no time.
So that'll wrap up this B main 75 laps. Only 1 caution, and it came very early. So, Justin, do you think that's a sign of things to come, or do you think this one's going to be a much more wild one, this first of 2 100 laps?
Here's the replay of what happened, and I think this A main is going to be a bit more wild considering how those guys race, and I think the 9, we could see how much, at least what I thought, how much he was hurting his entry there by sliding up, and obviously Lambert saw that and took advantage the moment he could, got a good entry in, and never looked back from there. Barr tried to get to the inside, but to no avail.
So that's definitely something that Barr is going to want to work on, is we're going to try to catch up with a few of the drivers in this B main, Justin.
Yes, sir. I think we got Daniel Masters here, Greg.
Hey, guys.
Yeah, Daniel Masters. Hey, I heard you talking there. So, Daniel, that's got to give you a little bit of confidence going into this one to be able to nurse a damaged race car like that to a top 3. That's got to give you a little bit of a boost going into this one to know that you're going to have a clean, fresh car going into this one.
Yeah, the car seemed to handle pretty well, even with a little bit of damage. It was turning really well. I don't know if it's just a new update they did, but it seems to handle better than it used to.
All right, well, Dale, talk to us about how you were slowly able to reel in those 2 leaders up there, Brian Lambert and Donovan Barr, because you were quite a ways back for a bit, but you just slowly but surely made your way up, and you found yourself in the mix and making moves on Barr for second there at the end.
Yeah, I knew tires would come in towards the end of the race, so I kind of just slowed down and let those 2 battle it out. And as you could tell, Donovan started to slow down.
is, and passing opportunities are not always that easy. So yeah, I just had to wait behind him and hope that he made a mistake, and he made some mistakes. I mean, I seen him knocking the fence down a few times and getting squirrely, but I just waited until there was a good opening where I could make a safe pass on him, and that was that.
All right, Brian, and tell us a little bit about that patience that you had and how you're planning to use that into these twin 100-lap main events, because you're going to be starting pretty deep in the field, 17th, going into this one. So how much patience is it going to take for you to try to get up there and repeat your success in this one?
Well, like you said, I'm going to be starting in the back anyway, so you kind of don't have a choice but to be patient. And I have a feeling there's going to be quite a few crashes and things along the way. So for my strategy is just going to be to try to outlast everybody and bob and weave in the beginning and get through some of the carnage and hopefully have a good car towards the end of the race.
All right, Brian, we'll let you go get ready for the A main, but before we do, anyone you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I'd give a shout out to you guys for being on these race broadcasts. I enjoy watching them. I enjoy showing them to people, and Seth and BJ for keeping the Northwest Tour alive, and yeah, just thank everybody for coming out and participating. It's fun to race with a lot of cars.
All right, that's Brian Lambert, B main winner at South Boston. Good luck in the A main events, Brian, and we'll see if we see you back here. All right, so understand we had a little bit of technical difficulties, so we're going to try this one again. Daniel Masters, Greg Rents in the tower, got a copy. All right, well, now we're going to try Donovan Barr one more time. Donovan Barr, Greg Rents in the tower, got a copy.
Yeah, I got you. Sorry, I had to go to the bathroom real quick.
Oh, it's all good. We know how that goes in these 75-lap races. But Donovan, you had a great run going. You're building on a little bit of momentum. That you used, or are you gonna do something different with this one now that you're starting deep in the field?
I'm gonna use the same strategy for the first one, see how stuff pans out, and then I'll decide after the first one what I'm going to do in the second one.
All right, well, we'll let you go get ready for this first of two 100-lap main events. But before we do, anyone you want to give a shout out to?
Shout out to Northwest Tour, Mike Wood Race Design, Soundtown Stereo, and Alluring Lawns.
All right, thank you, Donovan. Good luck in the A main tonight.
Okay, thanks.
I'm going to try Daniel Masters one more time as we had the technical difficulties. Understand that his end was not coming through. So, Daniel Masters, Greg Rents in the tower, do you have a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy.
Hey, we're going to have to try this one again. I guess what you were saying wasn't being heard on the broadcast. So, again, kind of tell the fans about that confidence boost that's got to give you for wheeling that damaged car around to a top 3 there.
Yeah, the car's handling really well. Guys have done a really good job with this setup. It seems to have a really good long run in it. Short term's even better, but it just handled well with the 75 laps we did.
All right, well, you lost a little bit of time there, so we'll let you go get ready for the A main events. But before we do, anyone you want to give a shout out to?
Mike Woods, Race Designs, Joe's Racing Bucks, all you guys that help with the broadcast, and Seth and BJ for help putting this on.
All right, that's Daniel Masters. Good luck tonight in the two 100-lap main events. 2 chances to be back here with us afterwards. Well, Justin, B-main in the books, and it was wild. So what are you looking for this first 100-lap main event?
And I look for it to be even more intense with how those guys race in the A main. Obviously, it's a little tamer here in the B main. Guys just trying to get into the show. And unfortunately, going to have 3 guys going home here tonight. But this A main should have plenty of action. And I'm really looking forward to it here.
Well, 2 twin 100-lap main events coming your way right now as we're getting set to go racing. And Justin, we're going to take a little bit of a break here, so we're going to get set for the Cascade Championship Wrestling Twin 100-lap main events at South Boston Speedway.
Alright, I give up. Why are we doing this? It's therapeutic. It's part of the game plan. This is why I stick to the game plans. What does he mean by that?
All I know is Dawn of the Cascade.
What's happening? Did you find these belts?
It's really happening. Shane McClain,
Jay Manson,
tag team titles.
we're going home.
We're gonna walk away with our belts.
Our rightful property.
What we're entitled to.
Everything.
We're gonna show them just who the super best friends are.
And who the true champs of Cascade are.
Do you have an old crap can like this taking up space in your driveway? Are you still holding on to your old high school whip? Did your aunt run off to Alaska with her boyfriend and leave her shitbox Cadillac sitting next to your house? If so, call Woffords Towing. They haul off junk cars just like these, and they even pay you cash for those old clunkers. So let's recap. We take your pile of crap, we put it in our state-of-the-art pancake maker, and we squeeze out all the cash. Woffords Towing and Auto Wrecking, 201 South Frontage Road, Wapato, 509-877-4944.
Stop USA is the online motorsports superstore. Pit Stop USA has over 100,000 products from over 600 of the top brands in racing. From sprint cars to street stocks, late models to modifieds, racers everywhere have trusted Pit Stop USA for over 17 years. Racers nationwide trust the experts at Pit Stop USA for keeping them safe, and we carry the largest selection of driver safety equipment on the planet. Whether you're looking for a new helmet, a racing suit, driving shoes, or the latest in head and neck restraints, Pit Stop USA has the safety equipment to keep you safe from head to toe. Pit Stop USA is the online motorsports superstore. Visit us today at pitstopusa.com.
Hi, I'm Brad Morrison with MountainView Polaris. Tired of being cooped up all winter long? Tired of your old lady complaining about this and that? Let's give her something to complain about. Come on down and see us here at MountainView Polaris. We got a great selection on side-by-sides, ATVs, and even a few snowmobiles. We also have products for the kids. We've also been known to do a deal over a good old bottle of tequila, or hell, even a simple coin flip. It's always easier to ask for forgiveness than it is for permission, so come see us, MountainView Polaris.
Tidricks Quality Transmissions. Come see us today. Thank you.
It is race time here at South Boston Speedway once again here for the iRacing Northwest Tour presented by Joe's Racing Products. It's the Cascade Championship Wrestling Twin 100s here at the South Boston Speedway. Once again, I'm Justin Kolb alongside Greg Renson. Greg, a great B main we just saw, and I have a feeling that it's going to get a lot more intense here in these twin 100 lap events.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. We got two 100 lap main events coming your way, and that B main that we just saw went relatively clean. We had one caution early on in that one, but I don't know if we can expect the same out of this one, because this is going to be 24 cars going all out here on a very, very small 0.4 of a mile oval in South Boston, Virginia. This is going to be a fun one to watch, Justin, and this is just the first of two.
Absolutely, and they're not going to have a lot of time to make their moves, so why don't we go into the points and where they're standings. And in terms of the championship here tonight, it's over. It's decided. Sean Brightsman not in the field here tonight, so Jason Berg has locked up this championship here tonight with 982 points. So a pretty hefty margin you can see there over Sean Brightsman going into tonight, 151. Basically, if Brightsman was in the field here tonight, he would only need to start the races here, and he would have locked it up tonight. But with Sean not being here, it's already locked up. So, of course, Brightsman 151 points back, and that's quite the impressive lead that Jason Berg had worked up over his points rival there. James Paulson still fighting for that second spot there, 170 points back in third. Bart Hector Jr. in fourth. Seth Fraser in fifth, 211 points back. Travis McKinney in sixth, 233 back. BJ Tidrick in seventh, 243 points back. Christopher Heim, 284 points back. Matt Hackathorn, 286 points back. And Scott Mann rounds out your top 10, 294 points back. So, Greg, championship decided tonight, but we still got a lot of guys in contention to try and get some better spots here before the finale in 2 weeks.
Yeah, the championship is decided, but 2nd to 11th is going to be a lot of fun to watch unfold, because this is going to be one heck of a race. And with 2 of them in one night, this is going to play a huge role, not just with Brightsman out, but also another guy who was in that mix, Matt Hackathorn, missing another race with some issues. So it's going to be tough with a couple of guys that were right up there in that huge battle from 2nd all the way back to 11th, missing the show. This is going to shake up the points a lot.
Absolutely. And, I mean, we'll talk about it a little bit here since we have some time. I mean, what a season Jason Berg has put together here. In one word, domination he's had over this whole season. This 13 race stretch, as next week or 2 weeks, we're going to finish it at New Smyrna.
Yeah, Jason Berg just dominated this season. The winningest driver in Tour history. This is the 2nd year in a row he has led the Tour in wins. I believe as long as Kyle Lark doesn't win one of the mains, it's clinched for Jason Berg for most wins, but I think it's safe to say Jason Berg is going to come away with the most wins this season. Unless Kyle Lark is able to pull off all 3, I believe they would tie. But it's been quite the year for Jason Berg in the 21 car.
Yes, sir. And, as you mentioned, Kyle Lark in the field here tonight. Top of the charts at the moment, and always a factor when he's in these races. But I believe it was last week or 2 weeks ago at Lucas Oil. Those two had a pretty good battle there, Kyle Lark and Jason Berg.
That was actually at Phoenix because Kyle Lark was not in the field at Lucas Oil Speedway. He actually found out was serving a 1-race suspension from the Tour, and he is on probation for the remainder of the season. So Kyle Lark got to be a little bit careful here tonight and try to make it through this accident make it through this race, I should say, without incident, because if he's on probation for the rest of the year, if something were to happen tonight, he could miss the series finale at New Smyrna.
Well, definitely has a fast car here tonight, per the usual. And it's going to be fun to see him up towards the front, duking it out with all these other guys. And I'm sure for Jason Berg, has to be a huge relief knowing that he really doesn't have to worry about anything here tonight. He can just go and race how he wants, knowing he has this championship locked up here tonight.
Yeah, Jason Berg. And when they announced it in the drivers' meeting that Berger won the championship, the only really surprised person in the field was Jason Berg. He kind of was taken aback a little bit when he was told that he had clinched the series championship.
Yeah, it's definitely, I'm sure, has to be an odd feeling when you're not even in the final race yet, and you already have the championship locked up. I know, I think it was in the Nationwide Series, Brad Keselowski had that one locked up at Texas 2 races before the finale. So knowing that you have it locked up, though, must be a huge relief going into New Smyrna, knowing that, once again, like I said here tonight, you just have a chance to go for broke, knowing that you have nothing to lose. and can just race for the win and nothing else.
Absolutely, you're exactly right. And Jason Berg, I think he's just gonna. I mean, do you honestly expect Jason Berg, though, to take it easy for the rest of the race? Do you think he's going to go out and try to win out and put a stamp on this incredible season that he's had?
Oh, absolutely. There's no reason why he shouldn't just go to the front and try and race for that lead as hard as possible from the get-go. I mean, like I said, he's got nothing to lose. He's not points racing anymore. At this point, he's just out here for wins, and as you said, trying to lock up most wins on the season to try and put an exclamation point on what has already been an amazing season for that 21 team. So currently second on the board right now in practice. Only got about 3 minutes left of practice before we set the grid for this first A main of the night. 100 laps for this short little racetrack here at South Boston, and only about 25 more laps than what we saw in the B main. So that race went quick. Have to imagine this race going to go pretty quickly as well.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with this one. First of two 100-lap races coming your way from South Boston Speedway in South Boston, Virginia. And Justin, the guys in the series down in the driving the cars, they were excited about this one. They knew this was going to be an all-out war tonight, and what better sponsor for it than a wrestling company, Cascade Championship Wrestling, coming up big tonight to sponsor the Twin 100s at South Boston, and perfect fitting sponsor for what this race is going to be.
Absolutely. These guys going to be wrestling the handling of their cars, going to be wrestling each other on the track, side by side, door to door. Most likely going to see some bumpers being used, whether it's sooner or later. And it looks like we're getting ready to grid here tonight for this first A main event. So we'll take it down to the grid as everybody gets ready. Christopher Heim going to be on the pole here tonight. Caden Anderson going to start next to him in the second position. Then in row number 2 is going to be BJ Tidrick in third, Jade Williams in fourth. James Paulson going to round out your top 5 there in row number 3. Brian Payne going to start next to him in the 6th position. Josh Robinson going to start 7th here tonight. Mathew Kingsbury going to start 8th. Casey Tillman in 9th, and Seth Fraser going to round out your top 10 there in row number 5.
Shane Quinn going to roll off in the 11th spot in the 29. Travis McKinney, the 48. He's really picked up a lot of speed in that 48 second half of the season, looking for some momentum. Brad Morrison, the 26, rolling off 13th. Kyle Lahr, Bart Hector Jr., and Jason Berg round out the cars that locked in on time, with Berg yet another Fast Time Award. Brian Lambert, the B main winner, Donovan Barr, Daniel Masters, and Ted Shan complete the top 20.
And towards the end of the field is going to be Adam Holm in the 21st position, Chris Walters in 22nd, and Andy Fuller going to round out your field here in 23rd. Did not have a 24th car, even though there should be 24 cars in here tonight. Possibly someone had an emergency or something else to attend to, but only 23 cars in the event here tonight. We see the 80 of James Paulson. Looks like he is going to the rear here early in the going.
As well, Travis McKinney and Casey Tillman both given EOL penalties to start this one. But the field is in the hands of Christopher Heim in the number 51 tonight to start this race off.
Seth, I think we know how these races have gone so far, these twin events. The person who usually starts the race up front normally leads the most laps and wins it. See if that's the same situation here. Green flag is out, and we are racing the 37 of Caden Anderson. A great start there, and we'll take the lead here in the early going, so throw out what I just said.
So off to the races with Anderson out in front early, coming to complete lap number 1, and it's Anderson leading the way.
Everybody got single filed out pretty quickly. Your first side-by-side battle, Mathew Kingsbury and Brian Lambert going at it, and that will subside pretty quickly. Seth Fraser going to try and take advantage of that open door. That's side-by-side pretty well all the way back there from the 9th position.
Yeah, side-by-side, but single file up front, but for how long, as Christopher Heim is right there on Caden Anderson. Now Anderson able to pull away a little bit. We're already 4 laps in of 100. And it is looking good for Anderson so far.
All right, everybody kind of minding their P's and Q's for the moment. Top three spread out by just about 2 car lengths over each other. Then you have 4th place through about 7th, all under a blanket. Just behind some contact with the 47 of Josh Robinson and the 53 of Jade Williams. That sends Williams out of the groove.
Not sure what happened there, back in around 5th position. Robinson and Williams making contact, and Williams getting the worst of it.
And you're going to see just a bump. But it knocked Williams out of shape enough that he loses 3 spots there, you can see. And possibly 4, yes, as Bart Hector goes by as well. So Williams went the wrong way early here. He's going to try and rebound. He's actually lost 5 spots. Mathew Kingsbury was able to get by as well. Our champion here, Jason Berg, up to the 13th spot, just got around Brad Morrison, so slowly but methodically working his way up towards the front in that middle groove there. Seemed like I didn't think we'd see guys going that high, but obviously him and Kyle are showing me that it can be done and will be done here tonight. And side-by-side battle just ahead of Kyle R. Well, it was a side-by-side battle between Jade Williams and the 52 of Brian Lambert. See, there's the battle for the lead right there. Or 2nd place, excuse me. BJ Tidricks was able to get around the 51 of Christopher Heim. I'm not really giving it up too easily, but 72, and you can see he got the wall just a little bit there.
Still, yeah, Tidricks beginning to creep away from Christopher Heim, but as the lap's already seriously clicking off, Caden Anderson is pulling away 1.3 seconds ahead of BJ Tidricks already.
It's funny, Greg. Normally the pole sitter pulls away. This time it's going to be 2nd place, who got a better jump than the leader. Pulling away, and like you said, by a good margin there. Obviously some cautions will bring them right back into it, but we've been clean and green so far here in the early going. 15 laps, or 14 laps complete, working lap 15.
And that's got to feel good for Caden
Anderson. Some contact between the 74 of Brian Payne and the 22 of Kyle Lahr. Now a checkup. Here comes Kyle Lahr, rocketed around that high side, and already back to the door of Brian Payne, and he's going to take that spot off corner number 2. What a complete rebound for Kyle Lahr. I don't know how he did that. Jason Berg going to follow him.
How many times we said that this year, Kyle Lahr? How did he do that?
He got the hit in corner number 3, and by corner number 1, he was already to the door of the 74. That was completely impressive on his end, and he got by that car, like I said, even before they exited turn number 2. So Kyle Lahr on a mission, has a fast car here tonight, and like I said, Jason Berg followed him right through there for a top 10 at the moment. Brian Payne still racing side by side. That's the 26 of Brad Morrison. Jade Williams just ahead. Just off the corner. Payne does not seem to have a good run in the entry of the corner. It seems like he's better on exit. Oh, and almost some contact there with Morrison. He had to check up. That allowed Travis McKinney to get to the outside. James Paulson going to try and follow through with that open door. And we'll get that spot. So Brad Morrison Brian Payne going the wrong way early here. Still heading the wrong way. 24 of Chris Walters. Oh, the 47 of Josh Robinson, our 3rd place at the time, has gone around at heavy contact. Either the 29 involved. man, what happened there? Tapped the wall off corner number 4, and man, the 29, nowhere to go on that one, as well as Bart Hector Jr., Seth Fraser. A lot of innocent bystanders in that one. Taking a look on the onboard of the 29. Just barely, if he even tapped the wall, and unfortunately clipped the 29 there and sent him around. 29 of Shane Quinn. Seth Fraser involved. As well as Bart Hector Jr. Hector 4th in the standings. That's, you can see a huge hit to that right side. Fraser carrying the Cascade Championship Wrestling sponsorship tonight on that hood. Crinkled up a little bit.
Yeah, tough break for those guys. I apologize, had some serious internet issues on my end, but seems to be relatively resolved for now. So hopefully I'll be able to stay with it as long as I can. But under caution here, first one, and Caden Anderson has led every lap so far.
Already a quarter of the way through it here tonight. Like you said, Caden Anderson has led them all ever since he stole the lead away from Christopher Heim on the start. BJ Tidrick was able to steal the second spot as Light's still on the pace car. So, but Mathew Kingsbury was working back a little bit farther in the field. But when that wreck happened, took out a few cars, and he's able to sneak his way up into the 4th position here. And how about Kyle Large, Jason Berg, 5th and 6th respectively after that one.
Yeah, Jason Berg, Kyle R. No surprise, those guys are making serious headway through the field. But stacking them up double file, a couple Kustom Fab guys up there. Caden Anderson, the 37, BJ Tidrick, the 72, one of the owners of Kustom Fab out of Kennewick, Washington. So we get set to go racing.
Their pace car gonna pull it down there. Caden Anderson wastes no time, already on the gas, and takes it in turn number 1. Mathew Kingsbury gonna open the door there on the bottom, trying to get by the 72 of BJ Tidrick.
And
I like that pass.
Yeah, Kingsbury, good to see him back in the field. Remember, he won the season opener, and he's always a threat when he's in the field. We haven't really gotten to see, since the Snowball Derby battle between Berg and Kingsbury, and who knows if we could see a battle between the 3 fastest cars all year, Kingsbury, Berg, and Lar. What a battle that would be. We got 2 chances at it tonight, and all 3 of them are making serious headway. All 3 of them up in the top 5 now.
Man, I tell you, I did not think that we would be getting that high side working like Jason Berg is doing it now, but he is dead even with the 72 of BJ Tidrick. He's going to take it around the outside into turn number 1. Not quite cleared yet. Kyle are going to try and follow him on that high side. And now he is clear, so that moves the 21-year champion into 3rd. And now a battle for the lead going on. Kingsbury trying to get underneath the 37 of Caden Anderson.
As Kingsbury putting the pressure on Anderson for the race lead. Matt Kingsbury, the 98, good to see him back out in this one. Jason Berg up to 3rd, though. And here comes Kyle Lar around the outside of BJ Tidrick. Christopher Hyde, the pole sitter, still hanging tough in there. Lar's going to clear Tidrick off turn 2. Or actually turn 4, I apologize. So Lar up there now making headway. And Caden Anderson, he's going to be running like he's frightened for his life because of, just look who's behind him right now. Kingsbury, Berg, and Lar. Caden Anderson's got his work cut out for him on defense here in this one now.
Yes, sir. And Kingsbury's already underneath for about half a turn before he had to back out of it. And still right on the rear bumper. Those 2 guys get racing. Well, I don't even think it's going to matter. Jason Berg slowly getting there and is about there. Off corner number 2. Caution is out. The 53. Oh, goodness. Someone upside down. The 02 of Seth Fraser.
Well, that's gotta make the guys at Cascade Championship Wrestling happy to see their logo kind of going sideways there. What happened here? Jade Williams just narrowly misses James Paulson. Masters catches the wall. Hey.
Oh my goodness! Gliding into frame there.
Yeah, like just like old Herbie the Love Bug at Fontana. Let's take a look at Seth Fraser, the Cascade Championship Wrestling Dodge, see what exactly happened here.
That's right on board.
Oh, did he get hit from behind? Yeah, I believe he got hit from behind, and he's on his lid, so not the start to this one. The Cascade Championship Wrestling Dodge wanted with the Cascade Championship Wrestling Twin 100s here tonight. Taking a look.
Oh yeah,
he gets hit from behind right there. Is that Ted Shan in the 13 that got him?
I believe so. Yes, sir, it was. And I had to take a tow, so he'll go a number of laps down while they take that car back to pit road. That might be a night ender for Seth. He might be able to get back out there, though. We'll have to wait and see once he gets off pit road.
At this point, I think it would be in his best interest to just park it for this one, get ready for the second one at this point.
Yeah. Tell you what, though, that was a pretty cool wall ride. Got some points in Tony Hawk there.
Just like Herbie the Love Bug, under caution here at South Boston Speedway. Caden Anderson's led every lap so far, but he's got the big dogs behind him. You could almost call the three guys behind them the Northwest Tours version of the Big Three, as we heard mentioned so much last season in the Monster Energy Cup Series. Kingsbury, Berg, and Lahr, they've really kind of set themselves out as the Tours Big Three this season, just with the sheer amount of wins and the sheer amount of speed those three cars have shown. So Anderson's got his work cut out for him, hoping he can channel his inner Joey Logano here for this one.
Yes, sir. Lights are out on the pace car, so Caden Anderson going to lead him to green here. Mathew Kingsbury in second, Jason Berg in third, Kyle Lahr in fourth, BJ Tidrick rounds at top five. Caden going to be hoping for another great restart like he got last time, as he's going to have quite the challenge starting next to him. He gets going good and should have it in the turn number one.
There's a lot of contact in the inside line on that restart, and one car seriously lost a lot of ground. Couldn't tell who that was, but the third car inside line, or fourth car possibly, lost a lot of ground on that restart as the inside line was playing bumper tag.
Contact!
Oh, contact leader! Kingsbury can save it! Oh, Anderson fights him off.
I don't know how he held on to that race car, but he was able to hold on to it and still fighting for that lead side by side with Anderson. More contact, and he's going to go around.
Oh, Kingsbury the leader. Oh, I thought Anderson was going to hit him back in the right direction. Caution is out. We've got a mess.
Man. Well, they were sure racing hard for that spot. Kingsbury got a little hit after he stopped. Take a look what happened. But here's the action to start. They were racing hard. And there was some contact there.
There's the first contact. I don't know how Kingsbury saved that. And not only did he save it, he was able to stick with Anderson in the 37. Berg and Lahr battling back there. Let's see what happens here. Kingsbury gets a great run. More contact. And right there, I thought the 37 was going to knock him back the right direction. Unfortunately, not to be there. And finally, James Paulson just came in and just caught him.
Well, the damage doesn't look too bad on that 98, so perhaps just a little fix on pit road and he'll be good to go. Caden Anderson does get the EOL off that caution, so who was the leader will now have to go all the way to the back.
Oh, so that's gonna, well, just look at who's up front now. Jason Berg, the 21, the champion of the Northwest Tour, and Kyle Lahr.
Travis McKinney up there too. He's been showing a lot of strength these past couple weeks, so we're fixing to have a great restart on our hands, it appears.
Yeah, so we got Berg and Lahr, two of the most consistent drivers all season long, and Travis McKinney, who has really come alive in this one for the second half of the season. Looking to try to steal a win in these last 3 races. We got 2 here tonight at South Boston, and then 2 weeks from tonight we're in Florida at New Smyrna Speedway for the series finale. McKinney would love to pull off a win in one of those.
And McKinney currently sitting 6th in points and in a pretty good battle with Seth Fraser there for a top 5. And with Fraser looking like still, nope, he's out 4 laps down, so he's looking to pick up quite a bit of points there to get into the top 5 in the standings before it's all said and done.
So great points battle from 2nd to 11th, and the big shakeup that we were already know was going to happen with Brightsman and Hackathorn missing the call, with Seth Fraser was right in the mix as well, having the night that he's had so far. That's going to shake it up even more. How about Adam Hall making some serious headway through this one from the B main in the 69 Pontiac?
Yes, sir. Well, lights on the pace car are out, so we're going to be going green this time. Jason Berg, your leader. Pace car is in.
Did we have action back there under caution? I thought I saw the 74 of Brian Payne going around. We go green anyway, single file restart, but I'm pretty sure we had some serious action before that green flag even came out, as Berg out to a big lead over Lar. McKinney kind of right in the tire tracks of Lar, maybe half a groove higher, as Berg leading the way. Lar to the inside, but too far back to make a move. Berg continues to lead.
Well, Brian Payne heading down pit road, and it did look like there was quite a good gap on that restart. So, not sure what happened there, but looks like everybody got it sorted out and clean. The battle for second there, Kyle Lar and Travis McKinney trying to go at it here for that second spot. He almost got underneath. How about Brian Lambert, our B main winner? Trying to fight to get to that lead, and has to get through second and third before he can get to Jason Berg. That's the battle for the 5th position. BJ Tidrick and Casey Tillman going at it for a top 5 at the moment. And just a little bit past halfway here in this first A main event. The Cascade Championship Wrestling Twin 100's here tonight for the iRacing Northwest Tour presented by Joe's Racing Products. There's your battle for second. Lar and McKinney still going at it. McKinney had the nose underneath for just a second, lost the handling just a bit off the corner. Hasn't lost a whole lot of ground to that second spot. On board with the 22 of Kyle Lar, looking back at that surprisingly white and blank 48 here this week. Doesn't seem like that's slowing that car down at all, though. Still racing hard, and now we'll get the nose underneath Lar, but Lar should have a good run off the corner. And once again, kind of surprising to see that Highline working as well as it's doing right now. I thought this would be a bottom groove dominated track here tonight. And obviously showing that you can race that high side, and it's looking to be a little bit more dominant. So Tidrick and Tillman still kind of going at it. For the most part, everybody throughout this field is kind of settled down. Battle for second still heating up there. 16 cars on the lead lap at the moment. Shane Quinn in the 29, your first car a lap down. You only have 1 car out of it here tonight. It's the 9 of Donovan Bart. McKinney tried to get the nose underneath once again, but that high side really prevailing. As I can't quite get that bottom working the way he would want to. Gets a good run in. Can't quite do anything with him off the corner, and as those guys race, it seems like Jason Berg slowly pulling away. He's got about a 1.1 second gap over Kyle Lar in second. goes again. McKinney tries to stick the nose out underneath, and that's about the closest he's gotten so far tonight, as we've dropped the green flag for this restart. Berg slowly increasing his lead. Still, it's got about 1.3 seconds now over those top two. It just kind of almost seems like they've stalled out with how close they are to each other. And looking through the field here, again, everybody just sort of single file for the moment, minding their P's and Q's. And a pretty good battle back here in the 15th position. Or 14th, really. Jade Williams, Caden Anderson, and the 29 of Shane Quinn all going at it. That's really your first side-by-side battle. Caden Anderson, who was your leader, got an EOL for that contact with the 98 of Mathew Kingsbury that brought out our last caution. And Quinn trying to get around the 53 of Jade Williams at the moment, once again for that 14th spot. Oh, and there's the contact. There goes Jade Williams around into the wall. Ted Shane goes in there as well. Contact with the 37 of Caden Anderson, as Jade's still in the wall. Sure, but the 53 came down, entering the corner. Here's the replay. Got the wall just a little bit before they even got to the corner and tried to get out of it. Caden Anderson was there. Jade Williams still rolling, battling with the 13 of Ted Sham at the moment, but doesn't look like that car is as good as it once was. As Windows Defender pops up there, but Jade Williams in danger of going a lap down there, and does. Jason Berg going to be able to put that car a lap down, and actually it looks like Berg is starting to get into some more heavy traffic as he goes along. He's got the 13 of Ted Shan just ahead. You see the 02 of Seth Fraser as well. And it looks like once he gets those two, he'll be fine. Almost seems like Chet might get in the way there, as Berg gonna have to go to that low line. Not normally where he'd like to be, but does get by the 13. Seth Fraser a little bit farther out. And all this lap traffic really isn't hindering Berg too much, as Lar and McKinney still somewhat going at it. Their lines are swapped through 3 and 4 that time. But they will have to deal with lap traffic as well. The lead for Berg still about 1.4 seconds at the moment, so hasn't really lost anything. But they will have to get through this lap traffic as well. Jason Berg out front now. It's against Seth Fraser, and it looks like Daniel Masters and the 47 of Shane Quinn just ahead as well that Berg will have to deal with. McKinney, the best run that he's gotten all night, got the nose the farthest out that time to the door of the 22 of Lar. If he can't work this lap traffic to his advantage once they get there, the first car that they will come up on is the 53 of Jade Williams. And Williams will get out of the way, and almost some contact between second and third there. McKinney diving it down into the corners, almost in contact with the 22 of Kyle Lar as they tried to negotiate the lap traffic. And how about Brian Lambert right in the mix of this as well, with all that battling they were trying to do. That allowed the 52 of Lambert to get right up to the rear bumper, that 48 of Travis McKinney, and make this second place battle a three-way battle.
And we mentioned it talking to Lambert after the B main that he was going to try to use patience to make it work here in this A main, and it is doing just that because he's up to the 4th spot in this B main, or this A main, I should say. So Brian Lambert, a great performance at South Boston tonight.
How about this? We were or at least I was so involved with all the great racing we had on track. We only have 15 laps to go. So Jason Berg in a really good position right now, 1.7 seconds ahead at the moment of Kyle R in second. And now I guess the battle, unless we get a caution, is really going to be for that second spot between Kyle R, Travis McKinney, and Brian Lambert. BJ Tidrick too far out to be a factor, and he's currently battling with the 92 of Casey Tillman. And Christopher Heim not too far behind that battle as well. These laps clicking by very quickly, obviously. 13 to go, coming to 12. As the 22 of Lar gets by the 13 of Shan, who might get the wall. Does not. McKinney will have to get by as well. He does. As well as Brian Lambert. Lambert really had to dive it in that time. He kind of hurt his line there, but still right on the rear bumper. There's your battle for 5th. BJ Tidrick and Casey Tillman, man, these guys have been at it what seems like all night. As Tidrick kind of fell back after the restart. Tillman going to try and get the nose underneath, but not able to get there that time. And I think Tidrick got the wall just a bit. Didn't seem to hurt his momentum at all. The 92 really trying to dime it in, trying to get the nose underneath, and he will get it there. And it is side by side for that 5th spot. Not going to get the good run off the corner like he would have wanted, but still got the nose barely there. And Tillman will still be there, but not off the corner. BJ holds him off.
Last race winner, Casey Tillman in the 92s. Apologize again. More internet issues on my end. Not able to see the stream, but got it back here for the finish. McKinney to the inside of Kyle Lar. Lar able to shut the door. Man, I cannot get over the run that Brian Lambert has put together tonight. Winning the B main and then going from 17th to 4th in this one.
And still got a chance at a podium there. Has 3rd place right in his sights as well. 2nd place, these guys dealing with the lap car, the 47 of Josh Robinson. Could he be a factor here with 60 to go? The answer is no. He gets out of the way.
And Robinson having a rough go for this first race. But it's all about Jason Berg in the 21, the new champion of the Northwest Tour. Back-to-back championships for him. And he is just picking them up and putting them down. And we mentioned it before. We weren't sure if Berg was going to just kind of take it easy for these last 3 or just go out and put a stamp on it. Justin, I think question asked, question answered.
Yes, sir. And taking it in charge as usual. 3 laps to go. In charge of it. Almost, I was going to say almost a 2-second lead, but it seems like Kyle R closed in just a bit with the lap traffic that Berg is dealing with. And with the 24, Chris Walters ahead, I think with 2 laps to go, he's really got no more worry with that 21. As he comes around turn 4, he will take the white flag. And almost ready to stamp for the most wins this season. Been strong all season. Already clinched the championship earlier tonight, and he's going to take the first A main event of the night. Jason Berg takes the first A main at South Boston here tonight.
Lars 2nd, McKinney 3rd. So it was a great effort by Jason Berg tonight. And we're just 1 down. Still another 100 lap main event to go.
Yes, sir. And I mean, what a battle it was. With Berg pulling away, but how about Kyle R and Travis McKinney? Given if they're all there, McKinney trying to do all he could do to get to the rear bumper of that 22, possibly make the move. Just couldn't quite make it work in the end. But still podium finish for Travis McKinney. Much needed points to get by. That 0-2 of Seth Fraser here tonight, who did not have a good run this first A main. but we still got one more race to go before we wrap it up here tonight. So one more 100 lap race in the books for us, and if this race is any indication, we're in for a good one. Why don't we we have Jason Berg here, the winner. Jason Berg, 3YTV, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
All right, well, first of all, congratulations. Clinched the championship earlier tonight, and I had a question before the race, whether you were just going to go all out knowing that you had nothing to lose, or still take it easy the way you normally did, and seemed like worked your way through the field methodically, but showed you had nothing to lose here tonight, taking the first A main.
Yeah, I thought about trying to take it really easy at the beginning, but then we kind of got going and everybody got in a rhythm and we're setting a pretty good pace. So I'd say after that first yellow, I started pushing a bit harder.
And as we got later into that race, seemed like lap traffic wasn't really an issue for you, surprisingly. It seemed like you were able to work through that pretty well and able to maintain that lead you had over Kyle Lar, and it seemed like Lar kind of followed you through the whole field, but once you were out front, unstoppable as usual.
Well, I appreciate that, but no, it was definitely go time once Kyle was directly behind me. I know one little mistake, and him and Travis both are going to be right on top of me, so I just tried to hit my marks. It's a super tight track that's kind of hard to get the hang of, and the outside proved to be dominant tonight, so that's where I stayed, and luckily it worked out.
Yes, sir. And one more A main to go. Anything you learned here for this first one that you can take into the second one?
Just try to keep the nose, really. Try not to get the toe knocked in so your steering's not messed up, and I think, again, after the first maybe 20 laps or so, the outside's going to be the dominant groove. That's where you're going to want to stay. So expect to see me try to get up there to the high side again.
All right, Jason. Well, before we let you go here, I want to give you a chance to shout out any sponsors that you have to, and get some names out there.
Yeah, definitely GeForceAerialMedia.com. Check them out if you guys need any aerial photography, anything like that. You can get you taken care of. GeForceAerialMedia.com.
All right, congrats on this first A main here tonight, Greg. Once again, congrats on clinching the championship, and I'm sure we'll be talking to you in this next A main. If not, good luck in the next A main, and good luck at New Smyrna.
And thank you. See you guys later.
All right, that was your first A main winner, Jason Berg. Why don't we try and bring up the second place finisher here, Kyle Lar. Kyle Lar, 3YTV, you got a copy?
Yeah, I do.
All right, well, a great, strong second place finish for you, and per usual, followed Jason Berg up through the field, and once you guys got there, you two were strong, but it seemed like Travis McKinney kept trying to fight you there for that second spot, but you held him off.
Yeah, I kind of burned up my right front, trying to make my way up with Berg, and just really didn't have nothing for him after the first 40 laps, so I just sat back and just tried to finish the race. That's all that mattered to me, honestly.
Absolutely. Well, it seemed like a surprise to me. You guys all got that high side working, and obviously that was the more dominant groove. Was that the line that you felt the most comfortable in, and obviously felt the strongest besides that bottom lane?
Yeah, the top was honestly the way to go. The bottom was just too loose coming off, especially off 1 and 2. You just go and feel like you're on ice skates.
All right, well, one A main down, one more to go. Got another chance to take a checkered flag here. You learn anything from this one that you can take into the next one?
Yeah, don't burn up my tires.
All right, well, Kyle, before we let you go, I want to give you a chance to shout out any sponsors that you have to.
Definitely Joe's Racing Products, Cascade Wrestling, Fragrance, BJ Tidricks, Seth Fraser, and my mom, my dad, and her, and my brother, and Colton. All my sponsors.
All right, Kyle. Well, congratulations on the second place finish, and wish you the best of luck here in the second A main.
Thank you, sir.
That was second place Kyle Lar, and I will talk to third place Travis McKinney here. Travis, you got a copy?
I got you.
All right. Well, that was a very strong battle there for that second position with Kyle. Just barely got it, but it seemed like you were kind of committed to that bottom lane, just couldn't quite get it done. Kyle was saying that it was a bit loose coming off the corner. Were you feeling that?
Well, I coming through the back I kind of used up my right front a little bit, and then when I got up to Kyle, he wasn't going to give up the high side. So that's the only, I mean, it was either right behind him or try the bottom, so I just kept trying the bottom, and I was going to try to pin him with a lap car, and then the lap cars kept dropping to the bottom, and just didn't work out. It was a fun race, though.
Absolutely. It looked like a blast, and once again, another strong performance for you. It seemed like you've come on pretty strong towards the end of this season, trying to get top 5 in points, I know, battling with Seth Fraser at the moment.
Yeah, that was my goal coming in. It was just to, to first season here with these guys and, feel everybody out and see how everybody races and, shoot for a top 5. And last half of the season, it's turned around for me, so that's a plus.
Absolutely. Well, one A main down, one more to go. Anything you learned here for this A main that you can take into the next one?
I don't know. You got to try to move the front as fast as possible without burning your tires up, which is extremely hard. So, I mean, it's just Berg's fast, Lars fast, Bart's fast. There's a bunch of guys that are fast. So, I mean, if you let them get out front too quick, then you'll never catch them. So you kind of got to keep an eye on where the fast guys are at and, try to keep pace with them without burning your stuff up. So it'll be fun. We're all going to the back again, so it'll be another fun ride to the front.
Absolutely. Well, before we let you go, I want to give you a chance to shout out any sponsors that you have to here.
Everybody that's involved with the Northwest Tour, you guys for putting on the show, Mike Wood Race Designs for doing my paint jobs, Cascade Wrestling for coming on tonight with the sponsorship. It's just a blast. Good group of guys to race with, so thank everybody that participates.
All right, Travis. Well, congratulations on 3rd place here tonight, and we wish you the best of luck this next A main coming up.
All right, guys. Enjoy. It'll be a good one.
There, that was Travis McKinney, finishes 3rd here tonight. And Greg, I don't know if you're here or not, but a lot of differing opinions from all 3 of those guys, and a lot of good insight heading into this next A main.
Yeah, I'm here. I believe whatever was going on with my internet, I'm hoping that I finally got it all resolved, getting ready for this second race. But yeah, like you mentioned, a lot of varying opinions. We're going to see a couple different strategies here in the second race with a full invert of the finishing order. I believe the second race is going to be a whole nother animal than what we just saw.
Yes, sir. So we're going to step away for just a quick second. Next session is up, so we're just going to step away for a minute. We'll take you right back to South Boston Speedway for our second Cascade Championship Wrestling Twin 100.
I'm Dave Kemmer. I'm the CEO and CTO at iRacing. We started this back in 2004, so we're actually older than 10 years old, but we first opened up the site to the public in 2008. It actually got started about 30 years ago when we did our first game at Papyrus, which was Indy 500. And that actually was just about 30 years ago, a little less. I was working on it 30 years ago. And that just, led to IndyCar racing, NASCAR racing. We eventually did Grand Prix Legends, and then we took that Grand Prix Legends engine and put it on NASCAR 4, NASCAR 2002, 2003. And at that point, EA got an exclusive license with NASCAR, and the company that owned us at that point, which was Vivendi Universal, decided to shut the studio down because they couldn't figure out another way to make money with the tech that we had. It was just about that time that I got connected with John Henry because he had just bought the Red Sox and come to town, and it turns out that he was a big fan of the NASCAR 2003 season. And so he came to the office just to visit one day, and we got connected. And we were talking about the fact that this was going to be shut down and what could we do with it. Certainly it didn't seem like Vivendi had an interest in using the code base, so he kind of helped us buy that code base back from them and set up iRacing, which we did in 2004. He got involved because he thought that the simulator was very cool. He just had a great time with it. In fact, he built up a league of his friends at home that, and they apparently raced so much that Several of them started to suffer burnout. But no, I mean, he definitely is a dedicated sim racer.
He's typing! He's typing! He's got it! He's got it! It's a new line of code! I'll get my code.
There were a few things that we wanted to try to do when we were starting up iRacing that would be different than what we had done before. One was to make a web-based service for multiplayer. It just seemed like a natural way to be able to market and reach people directly rather than through a store or selling a box. John was very interested in building a sport, something that actually where there were rules and a sanctioning organization where it would really feel like what you're doing in the sim was meaningful. We kind of wanted to start from scratch. I mean, using the technology that we had from Grand Prix Legends, but we started just pulling pieces of that and we built the code base up essentially from the ground up. I think John put it as it's sort of like in the old days of Papyrus, we were selling bats and balls and gloves, and he said, hey, let's create the playground and the ball field and make the umps and turn this into something. And it's interesting because really when we started in 2008, we didn't have very much content, but it was exciting right off the bat for that very reason, that we had these rules. People could understand, hey, this is what's at stake. And at this point, 10 years in, I feel like we've really succeeded on that front. I think we've executed on that vision just as well as I could have possibly hoped we would. I've been surprised by how much progress we've made with the simulation. It blows me away when I see it. It's just like, wow, this looks really good. There's so many pieces in there and they all work. It's just really awesome. It's way beyond what we had 10 years ago. Of course, we have a lot of stuff that's in development, big things. We've talked about the day-night transitions, the new damage model, better sound engine. There's just a lot going on and these are bigger projects which take a while to do, but when people see them and see the results, I think they'll really be pleased with it.
We welcome you back to the South Boston Speedway here tonight for our second A main of the Cascade Championship Wrestling Twin 100s here tonight. The iRacing Northwest Tour presented by Joe's Racing Products. Jason Berg, who was crowned your champion a little bit earlier tonight, took the first one, and it was a hard-fought battle for second between Kyle Lahr and the 48 of Travis McKinney. And I'm sure we're set for another good battle between those two, as well as Mathew Kingsbury, who was up there earlier in that race, but got some contact with the 37 of Caden Anderson, and unfortunately never saw him again. He's currently second on the board in this practice here, 2 minutes away from this advancing into the next session, into the race. So looking forward to seeing if Mathew can get back up there in this next 100 laps and trying to make another stab at it.
And I'm kind of curious to see how Kingsbury responds, not just to his finish in the first one, but to the contact with Caden Anderson, because he was battling for the lead with Caden Anderson when that happened. He had just gotten his nose out front, led his first laps on the tour in quite some time, and just for that to happen. So I'm kind of curious to see how the 98 of Kingsbury responds to that one.
So I'm hoping that those two don't get around each other here tonight, because there might be a little bit more contact. But either way, it was an amazing save, the first bit of contact that those two had, and for the 98 to hold on. But unfortunately, the second one a little bit too hard for him to hold on to, a little bit harder contact. So we're gonna have another shot at it here, another 100 laps to get up to the front and try and steal another win before the season comes to a close 2 weeks' time at New Smyrna.
And we saw it with Brian Lambert in the first main event, or the first 100, I should say, that it's possible. It's very, very possible to make your way from the front to the back at this racetrack in 100 laps. You just have to be patient. You have to be, you have to watch your moves. You have to hit your marks every single time. Lost my train of thought there for a split second, but it's possible to make moves like that with the setup here, with the track and everything, but you have to be able to pick your moves precisely, Justin.
Yes, sir. And with that high line being the strongest line as the session has advanced, it makes it a little bit harder to complete passes here tonight. And you guys are going to have, once again, their hands full. So we will take it to the grid, as these guys gridding up there. Got about 2 minutes time, and then we'll be set to go for, once again, the second main, another 100 laps around this small little short track here in South Boston, Virginia.
As you take a look at the starting lineup there, Justin, one race in the books, and kind of much of what we saw all season, but some interesting names up at the front that we don't really see up front too often. Do you think Berg and Lahr and company back there are going to try to go all out for it, or do you think they're going to kind of ride it out and wait to see what happens and see how these guys up front kind of handle themselves up front?
Well, I don't think they're going to differ any different from their last game plan. We already heard that Berg was thinking about holding back, but kind of just went for it in the end. And I have a feeling it's going to be the same situation we have here tonight, as they're all the way in the back. So they're going to have, once again, their work cut out for them. As I think Berg is getting an EOL, so he's going all the way to the back. Going to start 16th. We'll go back to 22nd position here.
And looks like Kyle Lahr might be falling his way to the back too. I saw the 22 dropping to the back as he falls in line behind Bart Hector Jr. And Bart's got one of his biggest fans watching tonight, his Aunt Kathy. She's watched every single race this season, so want to give a hello to her, tuning in once again. Tunes in every single one of our races to cheer on Bart in that 82 car. So hello, Kathy, and thanks for tuning in.
Yes, sir. He didn't have the greatest first day main, but of course got another one to get better and try and race for that win. So pace car is off here. It'll be Jade Williams and Ted Shan leading them to the line. Jade Williams, your leader. Green flag is out, and we're racing once again from South Boston. Some contact there at the beginning between Caden Anderson and a huge pile up at the front.
What happened there is they slam on the brakes and...
Caution. There it is.
Minimal damage, I believe. I don't think anyone really got collected in the bottleneck. I think most of the contact there was the initial go-around of Daniel Masters, and is that Christopher Heim facing the wrong way? I can't tell.
Yes, sir, and I think he has some good damage on that car, and this is, I believe, Jason Berg we're riding on board with.
Gets in the back of McKinney a little bit, but I don't think there's a whole lot of the damage in that bottleneck. This will be a good view of it. I saw the 72 with some damage, but I think oh no, there it is. Yeah, there it is. So most of the contact had already happened by the time our cameras found it, but Justin, your pick on who got the worst of that.
Well, I'd like to say Christopher Heim as we take a look from the aerial shot there.
Well, that's what started it right there.
Yeah. Christopher Heim, I think, got the worst of that. And unfortunately, you know, you're so close, there's no real room on these straightaways. You really can't go anywhere when something like that happens. So a lot of those guys had nowhere to go, just had to, unfortunately, kind of go straight into it. Because some guys were lucky and were able to slow down, but guys closer didn't have the same luck.
Well, Seth Fraser definitely had a lot better luck in this one than he did the first one, so he's able to keep the Cascade Championship Wrestling logo clean, at least for the time being, in this one. So long way to go. Fraser in the 0-2, trying to get a much better showing for our titular sponsor here for this second Twin 100.
And I think 4 guys there at front, starting with Josh Robinson, actually going to have to take the wave around when we take the one to go, as they had to really stop because the whole track was blocked by the time they got there. So
Robinson's got a lot of damage. He hit the car in front of him pretty hard in that 47 car. I was tossed between Heim and that 47 of Robinson, the Montana native, of who got the worst of it. Just runs right through the pace car, quite literally, as does Masters.
Yeah, it's quite a shame for that 47. Was hoping to have a better run here in the second A main, and already kind of that car looking the same way it did in the first A main.
Not the night that Robinson won it for sure. Here's the guy I'm watching here in this second B main, the 37 of Caden Anderson in fourth. Led much of the early going in that first main event, but got sent to the back after the contact with Mathew Kingsbury. So when it was all said and done after the invert, he starts up front again. I'm keeping my eye on that 37 of Anderson to see how he responds to that going into this one.
Absolutely, and not too far behind is that 98 of Mathew Kingsbury, who had some contact between the two, and unfortunately the 98 had gone around. So looking to see what he can do. Pace car is off. Jade Williams will lead him off once again, and is side by side as they head into turn 1 for the race lead.
2 white cars going to war off turn number 2 into turn number 3, as Walters sporting a new paint scheme on the 24 car. But here comes Caden Anderson in the 37 to the inside. Not able to make the move just yet. Shuts the door on Ted Shan. Now he's going to make a move to the outside, taking a look on Walters and Williams.
That last time by, I think they were 3 wide heading into turn number 1. Seth Fraser was all the way on the apron. Those guys still trying to sort it out back there. As there's your battle for second. Caden Anderson to the outside with 24. And out of the nose there. Side by side heading in turn 1. This is Seth Fraser. You can see just how much of a mess he's in right now. Again, I think they were side by side, 3 wide at one point, heading into 1.
That's his teammate Bart Hector Jr. right in front of him in the 82, as Williams able to get the 53 car in front of Walters. Got the 37 of Anderson with him, but Walters on the inside, not going away. But Anderson's going to make the pass off turn number 2. He go on board with the 37 on the gyro cam.
I thought the 37 of Anderson got the wall, but I think it was just too close.
Too close for comfort, though. Ooh,
and there's some
very loose
contact.
off turn number 2.
Ted Shan, Mathew Kingsbury, and Adam Holm involved. Shan got turned around by the 24 of Chris Walters. A slight bit of contact in the middle of 3 and 4 sent that 13 around.
Well, Chris Walters, no doubt he got the worst of it. Let's take a look what happened. There's the contact with Shan, and nowhere for Kingsbury to go.
And who was that?
I believe that was Tidrick in the 72 that caught Walters on the rebound there. On board with the 24, making the move to the inside of Anderson, trying to get the second spot back. May have been some contact there. And there's the contact from Shan. There's the hit from Kingsbury, and around he goes in front of the field. And right there, yeah, Tidrick catching the 24 as well.
Kingsbury involved in another one here tonight. Doesn't look too bad on that 98. Take another look at the replay. Okay, so yeah, that was some net code.
Yeah, there was net code. Not the return to the Northwest Tour that Kingsbury wanted in the 98. So hopefully he's able to keep that thing pointed in the right direction, and we'll see what happens. Let's take a look at what our champion Jason Berg saw coming up through this.
Of course, he's loose battling that car heading into the corner. I think he had to stop for another one. Yeah, had to take evasive action.
Fortunately, he was far enough back in, enough of a time or enough of a chance to react to that to really not really risk it. But this is a guy who didn't have a lot of time. Seth Fraser. There you see it breaking out right in front of him, and slight tap to the wall. Looked like Tidrick may have caught Hector a little bit there off the bounce off the 24, but Fraser able to keep it pointed straight. And Fraser, he's having a night. Wasn't able to dodge him a whole lot in the first race, but he's done a great job dodging 2 already the second race.
Yes, sir. It's not quite the wall riding experience that he had in that first one, so I'm sure he's glad about that. So, lights on the pace car are off, so we're going to get him racked up once again. Jade Williams still your leader. Caden Anderson in second. Adam Holm in third. James Paulson fourth. Shane Quinn runs out your top 5, and Mathew Kingsbury just outside in sixth.
And the car you're keeping an eye on is the 98 of Kingsbury, because he's the one with the damage. But the field is in the hands of Jade Williams, the 53, as he tries to fend off Caden Anderson. We're green on lap 19 of 100. Anderson with a great start to turn number 1 there.
And I think, Williams got the wall there, and I think that entire inside line was expecting him to go quicker than he did, as the 29 almost gave the tap to the 69 of Adam Holm there on that restart. Jade just did not go, and they are 3 wide off the corner, and almost some contact. There was some contact with Kingsbury. Just contact, that's all it was, though.
Speaking of contact, while you were talking about the 53 of Williams catching the ball, I believe that number 80 of Paulson caught the ball just as hard, if not harder, but it doesn't seem to have slowed him down as he's up there putting the pressure on Williams for the 3rd spot. Now Kingsbury making a dive, but a lot of damaged cars up at the front right now, and that's got to play into the advantage of Caden Anderson, whose car is still clean so far. 22 laps on the board right now, and Anderson beginning to pull away with quite a few damaged race cars right behind them.
Greg, I think you were saying last time a lot of these guys were ready to get fresh cars, and how quickly that lasted. Only 20 laps into it, and a lot of these cars are already with a good amount of damage.
Yeah, and I said Caden Anderson was clean, but we got to look at it. That car is pretty torn up as well. So how many is this? Let the top 6 or 7 that are having damage, maybe even back further, as Larma's kind of got a little bit of damage in that first wreck. As he's back there at the tail end of this battle, we'll have to take a look at the 22. Lar is clean, so no damage done on the slight little tap he had in that first incident as he goes to work on the 52 of Lambert with Shane Quinn right in front of him. But this is a hornet's nest, and we're here from about 2nd to I believe about 7th, and it's a good show as Kingsbury to the inside of Jade Williams right now.
How about Kingsbury trying to get back up towards the front, battling Williams, and does have him clear for the time being, and will definitely clear him into 1. Also going to try and follow that open door. They'll be side by side down the back. Contact. That sends Williams up the track. They're 3 wide just behind. Laura on the bottom of that. They're still 3 wide through the front stretch and still 3 wide through 1. Now they get to settle down.
No one backed out of that one, but
Lauren wall.
Oh, and the 53 Williams caught the wall there as well. So there's damage on the 22. As Seth Fraser comes up and joins the battle. But what I was saying was the 3 cars that were 3 wide there about 2 laps ago, no one backed out, but Williams had such a good run on the outside off the corner that they really kind of negated the 3 wide momentarily.
Oh, contact! The 29 of Shane Quinn have contact. There goes the 52 of Brian Lambert on the front straightaway.
Oh, we got a huge pile of
my
Hector involved.
goodness.
Tidricks, Fuller, Berg, Masters comes in backwards.
Parking lot.
And I saw more cars skidding by out of frame. I saw Brad Morrison get involved. Let's take a look and kind of figure this out.
Contact with the 53 and 29 off the corner. Man, everybody just piled in there afterwards.
Robinson involved, who's at the 24 of Walters, I believe. Tillman, I think, was the first car to not be involved in that.
Fortunately, Jason Berg. Yeah, Berg, our champion. He actually stopped for that wreck, but unfortunately got hit from behind. Wow. Heavy contact there.
Man, that's McKinney going around as well. He was caught up in at the 48. Fraser kind of, I was going to say got damage to a minimum, but he caught the inside wall. Here's BJ Tidrick on board with Jason Berg.
Berg slows down for this wreck, and I think he would have made it out okay, but he actually gets hit from behind and just kind of gets forced into it.
Robinson coming in like a bowling ball, taking out Fuller and Masters and one other car. Couldn't tell who that was. Didn't get a good enough look before the camera angle switched. 24 of Walters. So at this point, Justin, I believe it's easier to count up cars that don't have damage, because I'm pretty sure that just gave just about every single car some damage.
Yeah, and definitely this second A main showing a lot more carnage than the first one. Luckily for these guys, it seems almost cosmetic for these cars, but obviously don't know if these guys have any suspension damage of any sort. You can see the 49 Josh Robinson on pit road involved in another one. Fortunately, there's Bart Hector Jr.
Heavy front end damage on the 82 of Hector. There's Fraser. His car doesn't look too worse for wear as opposed to some of those other cars that were in that wreck. On board with him, you can definitely tell that the hood is buckled a little bit, but all in all said,
yeah, it definitely looks better though than his first A main car, that 02 of Seth Fraser. Took a excursion with the wall. Well, how about this up front? Caden Anderson, Mathew Kingsbury. Those two had some contact in the first A main. Anderson up into Kingsbury sent that 98 car around.
And what you're talking about, that incident that happened while they're running in the exact positions they were. Anderson first, Kingsbury second.
And lights on the pace car are out, so we're going this time. This should be quite the interesting restart.
Single file restart. Pace car ducks off. Field to the hands of Caden Anderson. We're back green.
Kingsbury with the nose underneath. Not quite the momentum that he needs to get there, but he'll try again in 3. Obviously the bottom line, the only line he can really take around here at the time being.
Kingsbury to the inside of Anderson. Anderson stronger on the exit. James Paulson, the Martinsville winner earlier this year. He has picked up the win at Martinsville in their twin 70s this season. Chance Overall picking up the other win that night. He's up in the 3rd spot now. He's still trucking along pretty good, even despite the hit to the wall he had earlier in the 80 car.
How about the battle for 5th and 4th at the moment? Shane Quinn and Kyle are going at it. Well, they were side by side, but that battle subsided pretty quickly. Kingsbury and Anderson still going at it though for that top spot.
Taking a look back a little bit deeper in the field, Fraser, McKinney, and others back there. Boy, Kingsbury is committed to that bottom, but Anderson's making the high side work as we take a look deeper in the field. Hector and Berg right there. And Hector, the 82, definitely not the night he wanted, as a lot of the guys in the tour had him picked as the car to beat this race in the 82 car. So definitely not the night he wanted.
He is up 10 positions, so he's definitely had quite the adventurous night.
Couple cars with some heavy front end damage there. McKinney in the 48 and Brad Morrison, the 26, battle for 6th position. Seth Fraser right in front of them in the Cascade Dodge.
Tillman working that high side around the 26 of Brad Morrison.
Tillman, how big was that for him to get the monkey off his back and get that win last race out at Lucas Oil? Not the way he wanted it, as he was in second. Caution is out.
Robinson around in turn 4. Looks like Adam
Holm on pit road.
Yeah, looks like he was involved as well.
See if we can figure out what happened here. Oh, looked like maybe some contact between the 51 and the 47.
Yeah, something.
Holm just kind of taking evasive action there and just kind of spun it on the pit road. We'll have to take another look at the 47. Here we go.
And some lows from behind, yep, the 51 of Christopher Heim and hard into that wall.
That was a hard hit for the 47 as well. Still sporting the throwback scheme from the Myrtle Beach race. He has not changed back to his normal scheme since that race, so interesting of note there. But here it is on board with Hyman. Yeah, he just drove it in deep and just a little bit too much.
You can see there it's the contact with the 69 of Adam Holm. Sent him down pit road. Masters getting the wave around there. We'll put him back on the lead lap. Leave 19 cars on the lead lap. Josh Robinson will be the first car a lap down, make that 2 down. And everybody's still on track at the moment with the exception of Jade Williams. Christopher Heim just hit the inside pit wall, by the way. And Williams 17 laps down at the moment.
So closing in on halfway here, lap 48 of 100. Caden Anderson leading the way, has led 30 laps so far, but he's got a tough cookie behind him in Mathew Kingsbury in the number 98 behind him.
Those two going hard at it for that race lead last time, Anderson and Kingsbury. Expect about the same for this next restart as the lights are out. So we'll be going racing this time. Anderson's still your leader, Kingsbury in second, Paulson third, Shane Quinn in fourth, and Kyle R runs out your top 5 here.
Lights out on the pace car. We're going green this time by Anderson. Kingsbury leading the way. Oh, Kingsbury getting right up on the bumper of Anderson, but Anderson with a great shot in the turn number 1, but Kingsbury comes fighting right back, and much like the last restart, Anderson outside, Kingsbury inside.
And someone in the back did not get a good start. That was the 29 of Shane Quinn, and instantly that battle for 4th goes on once again with Kyle R and Shane Quinn both. Seems like same story, second verse there with the 37 and 98. Battle they were having before that caution started right back up with Kingsbury right at the bottom.
Kingsbury to the inside of Anderson. Oh, Kingsbury bobbled a little bit there off turn number 2. Does not seem like it slowed him down a whole lot, but he did lose a little bit of ground to the 37, as up until that he was able to at least get to the door, but not able to that time by. He's able to fight back now on the inside, but Anderson really making the high line work right now in the 37, and a lot of cars beginning to make their way up to the higher groove, I've noticed.
A little bit higher than what they were probably running in that first A main. As Kingsbury still trying to get the nose there, and there's some contact. There goes the 37 of, and they're both going to go around. Kingsbury almost upside down. Seth
Oh,
Fraser
no.
goes underneath and ramps the 98.
Oh my goodness. The 37 and the 98, both races tonight make contact. Reverse of roles this time. Let's see what happens.
I want to see what happens to this 98. He makes contact there, goes up in the air. Now watch so too. Seth Fraser. Oh my goodness. I thought he caught some massive air though.
So one more look at it here into turn number 3. Just slides up the track a little bit. There's the contact. Kingsbury hits the wall, pops up, and then doing. Fraser in the Cascade car, just kind of turning into a trampoline there for Kingsbury.
It looked like he got the feather from Mario Kart there and just flew into the air.
Yeah, Mathew Kingsbury, I think, cementing his status as a high flyer in the wrestling world after that one. Boing.
Wow. How about Seth Fraser, who races so far tonight that he's had an adventure, one car on top of him, and then a ride with the wall, that first one. Wow.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious. If we have a chance, I would kind of like to talk to the 02 of Seth Fraser and just see what his mindset is with the way this has been going.
And maybe we can talk to him next caution, because, well, maybe not. I think we got some time. See if we can't talk to him, Greg.
Hey, Seth Fraser, Greg Rents, 3YTV, got a copy?
Yeah.
Well, the Cascade Dodge has been on a little bit of an adventure tonight. Both races, you've had some interesting ones. You went full Herbie the Love Bug in the first one, and now you just turned into a trampoline for Kingsbury there in the second one. Kind of a weird night for you tonight.
Yeah, I'm just trying to keep things interesting for you guys.
Be quick, guys.
All right, well, Seth, lights are out of the pace car, so we'll let you go green, but good luck the rest of the way, and let's see how you do for the rest of the race.
All right, thanks, guys.
That's Seth Fraser up in 5th now. So still a top 5 for Seth Fraser, the 02.
We have a car on top of him. All right, well, James Paulson, your leader, leads him off. A big checkup towards the back. And I'm not sure. I think everybody made it there. Nope, contact in the back. A lot of contact. Someone went around. That might have been
74 of Brian Payne, perhaps, as he's moving very slow with a lot of damage. Caution is out.
And I think that all goes back to the checkup they had there on the start. Oh, maybe not.
Oh, no.
Contact with the 72 of BJ Tidrick.
Adam Holm got collected in that as well. Holm kind of got pinballed there on that one. See if we can take another look at that. Here's a look at the 69 on board with Adam Holm. Right there. And a hit to the wall for Holm was not as bad as I thought it was, or as the camera angle there may have looked, but still under yellow. Alright, so we're going to try to dial up Seth Fraser again and maybe get a little bit more words with him. Hey, Seth Fraser, Greg Rest, 3ITV again. You got a copy?
Yep.
Alright, we kind of had to cut it real short there, but got a little bit more time now. So, like you were saying, you were trying to keep things interesting out there?
Yeah, I just don't want the fans at home getting bored, you know.
Well, you're doing a pretty good job of that in the 02 car. I'm sure those watching from Cascade Championship Wrestling are kind of enjoying the show that we've had tonight with them in the 02, and here you are, still in the top 5, still very much doable right now.
Well, I'm gonna need a little bit of luck. When I got spun out one of those last cautions, it's hard to keep track of which one, but one of them it knocked my toe out a little bit or something. So the car's a little bit tighter than it should be, but it is what it is.
Well, we'll let you go ahead and get focused up and see if you can maybe put Cascade Championship Wrestling on the podium here for this one. You got 2 more cars to pass and about 35 laps to do it. Do you think you can get there?
That's hard. You never know at Sobo. See what happens.
All right, well, Seth Fraser, driver of the 02, getting set, and we'll wish him luck the rest of the way.
It looks like the lights are out. Maybe not. Oh, nope, there goes pace car. And green flag out once again. Looks like a bit better start there. 29 of Shane Quinn did not get a great restart once again. 22 of Kyle R went directly underneath like last time and tried to take quick advantage of that start.
And Kyle R, I think, is the cleanest one up front right now. But we'll see how he can make moves in that 22 car. 34 to go.
Oh, and there goes the 22 of War! And the 29 of Shane Quinn riding the wall.
Another Herbie. And that's going to eliminate Kyle R from this one, as he's going to be far back in the field. Heartbreak for Shane Quinn in the 29.
Just a little squeeze play there up at the wall. Wow. Instantly, that car up on the wall.
Oh, he got hit by another one. I believe that was the 82 of Hector that caught him at the end there. One more look at it. And again, look who's right behind it and gets through. Seth Fraser, the 02, gets through it.
Definitely keeping it interesting.
Let's see. Yep, that was Hector that got caught by Quinn. Man, Hector's another one who's just had an awful couple races here tonight.
I'm sure he'd like to forget about him. Unfortunately, Seth Fraser had a car on top of him not too long ago.
And here he is in third. Well, James Paulson leading the way. He's looking for his second win of the season. Caden Anderson, Seth Fraser rounding out the field. There's a good look at Fraser, the 02. What a night he's had.
Yeah, no kidding. Car on top of him here, and then rode the wall like Kirby, and I'm sure he was like looking in a mirror with that 29 climbing it. And I mean, Shane Quinn is still in 5th spot. Okay, he's coming down pit road. I was gonna say I don't know if he can continue out there riding the wall like that, but obviously he's gonna come to pit road there. And very good. We're kind of closing in on the end of this race here. Only 30 laps to go. And
yes, 30 to go, and a huge shakeup up front. Really, the consistent one up front this whole race has been Caden Anderson in the 37, but James Paulson's done a great job getting up there.
Yes, he has, and kind of gotten lucky with these cautions. Hasn't really had a whole lot of pressure from behind. Caden Anderson back up to second, so he's I'm sure going to apply some pressure here on Paulson should we get a long run here. And how about Travis McKinney back there in 4th? Finished 3rd the first A main, and 1 position away from backing that up at the moment. Pace car is in, and green flag is out. Paulson out to another good restart there. Looks like a much cleaner restart this time.
Much cleaner throughout the whole field as Paulson leading the way. He's opened up a little bit of gap over Anderson, and on board with Fraser in the 02. Trying to go after Anderson. Dodge versus Chevy right now up front. There's a look at your champion, Jason Berg, who's kind of been just playing it safe in this one, and what do you know, he's up there in the mix at the end.
Casey Tillman goes around on the front straightaway hard into that inside wall. You stay green for
the time being. That was a vicious shot to the driver's door for Casey Tillman. Now Hector going to go to the inside in the 82.
Trying to take advantage, but man, it was a hard shot, like you said there, Greg, and kind of amazing that he's just kind of shaking it off and keeps on going there. Loses a few positions, but looks none worse for the wear.
Back up here to the 3rd spot. Travis McKinney, another one who's got caught up in a couple accidents. Look at the 48 car. Look at the passenger side of that 48 car. That thing is dented all to heck. And here he is up in the top 5 right now, trying to get around Seth Fraser and fend off, I believe that was Jason Berg. Yes.
Get Berg up to 5th now, and he's looking like he's might possibly steal the second one here tonight. Only 23 laps to go. If we get another caution, I think it could open up the door for Berg. He's close enough now.
Yeah, but I believe there's not enough time for him to do it under green to get around all 5 of these cars. I think he's going to need another caution, but then again, it is Jason Berg. Never doubt it. Oh, here comes Fraser to the outside of Anderson now. Into the wall goes Fraser, but he keeps pointing in the right direction.
And some bottle up behind him with McKinney and Berg. A little bit of contact there. No harm, no foul.
Staying focused at the task at hand. Meanwhile, James Paulson, the leader, is loving this as he's pulling away. Berg to the inside of McKinney. James Paulson has opened it up a little bit. Almost a full second back now to Caden Anderson. Are they 3 wide back there?
They're trying to go 3 wide. McKinney and Berg still going at it. Fraser almost got put in a 3 wide situation there with those 2 battling behind. Fraser a little loose off corner number 2. But still holds on to that 3rd spot. Now it's McKinney who's applying the pressure to Fraser.
McKinney fights out of it for now. And he gets to the inside of Fraser. Fraser punches it off turn number 2 to get it up there though. Meanwhile though, James Paulson pulling away even more now from Caden Anderson. Berg got loose off turn number 4.
Go fighting to the inside of McKinney there for that 4th spot. Not going to give up quite easily is that 21 of Berg. And as you said, Paulson just slowly pulling away here. 17 laps to go. 16 now. And he's looking like he's in good shape unless we get a caution.
However, don't look now because Caden Anderson has began to pull away from the 3-car battle here. Anderson opening up a little bit of a gap between himself and the 0-2 Seth Fraser. Looks like the gap is maintaining at about 7/10 of a second though between him and Paulson. So I think Anderson is going to need a little bit of help with maybe a caution to try to get up there and contend with Paulson for the win.
Oh, Berg really loose off the car. How did he save that car? He was heading straight for that inside wall, somehow regrouped and kept it going.
On board with the 21 of Berg. Wow, what a save. He fought that thing down the entire straightaway.
I thought he was heading straight for that inside wall, and I thought that was night over for Berg. But somehow he regrouped, keeps going, and I'm sure he's going to try and... Oh, contact with the 48 of McKinney.
McKinney with a great save that time. What a race at South Boston. I think we're going to have to kind of put a bug in the ear, the advent of this series. I think we need to have a couple of trips to South Boston next year. This is incredible.
Yes, sir. Paulson still pulling away just a bit, but Caden Anderson slowly reeling him in. 11 laps to go, coming to 10 this time. Checkered flag coming closer to waving here at South Boston.
James
McKinney
Paulson.
loose.
James Paulson, 1 win on the season. And don't look now, though. Caden Anderson is closing in on the 80 car. Just looked up. The gap is closing a little bit. So, maybe time for a shootout.
I don't know if he's going to be good enough to get back up there to the lead. Paulson, excuse me. He's definitely closing just a bit, but I don't think he has enough time to get there all the way. He's going to move up a groove there, but I don't know if it'll be enough. Well, he's on a 10th now.
We saw Anderson using that line earlier while he was out in the lead, and it was working perfectly. So he may be going back. Maybe he knows something there, and he was just saving it because he is definitely beginning to close in now.
0.5 of a second, the gap now. Question is, if Caden Anderson can get there, can he get by? Obviously close enough that we're probably going to have to see a little bump and run action, as I think we're going to see this back here in the 4th spot. McKinney and Berg going right at it, and Berg has been applying that bumper these past couple laps. Dives to the inside, gets a little loose off 4, but man, those past 2 trips around turns 1 and 2, he's gotten the bumper right to McKinney.
How is he saving this car in the 21 is what I want to know.
Oh, there's some more contact.
More contact there. And how is McKinney able to still drive this thing with all that damage on the 48 car?
That's a good handling race car.
This is incredible watching these two.
Oh, I thought someone was going around, heard some skid marks. Someone is going around. He'll crash on the back straightaway. Caution is out.
I believe this should end it. This should end it. Oh, Masters. Gets into Morrison at the very end there. 3 to go. Justin, I believe James Paulson has just won his second race of the season.
Yes, he has. We will not be going back to racing and taking a look at what put out this last caution. That 26 of Morrison. Loose trying to hold on. And obviously you saw the 52 of Brian Lambert makes contact. And Daniel Masters as well.
Taking one more look on board with Morrison. There you see it. He fought that thing. You have to give him credit. He did not give up on that 26 car. But the 2018 Northwest Pro 4 Alliance champion, his night comes to an end early with that one. Well, not comes to an end, but that will do it in, as the white flag is going to be in hand next time around for James Paulson. He's going to collect his second win of the season.
Sir, and look who's going to finish third. Seth Fraser, after the wild night he had, both in the first A main and the second. Had a car on top of him here in the second one, and somehow he's going to come home with a podium finish.
Dibs on that interview.
Man.
Here we go. Through 3 and 4 for the final time. James Paulson is going to collect his second win of the season, both of which coming on dual main event nights. So James Paulson going to be an advocate for sure for more of that next season. James Paulson wins the second Cascade Championship Wrestling Twin 100.
Ian Anderson going to come home second. Good rebound from the first A main, where he got sent to the back after contact. Travis McKinney, a third and a fourth place finish here tonight. Made up some points in that first A main on Seth Fraser. Unfortunately comes on one position behind Fraser in the second A main. These guys will get gridded up for some pictures. And I'm curious to see if Berg is waiting to do some burnouts. He's gonna get pointed up towards the wall, and he is doing some burnouts. It's to celebrate the championship a week early. Had a little blink there, I was confused. This is, like I said, soak it all in a week early. And it's got to be the best feeling in the world, knowing you get to go into the championship race with no pressure on your back.
And how dangerous is that going to be? Jason Berg with no pressure, no worry in the world, just go out and try to win the race. That's going to be dangerous next race at Smyrna.
We already saw it tonight how dangerous he was with that monkey off his back. So why don't we interview third place here tonight once again, Greg?
Yeah, Seth Fraser, Greg Rent, 3YTV, got a copy.
Yep.
Well, you made it interesting and you came home on the podium, Seth. What an up and down night for you.
Yeah, it was a long night, but second race turned out a little better than the first.
All right, well, Seth, tell us a little bit about about that last 30 laps, the battle with McKinney and Berg and trying to track down Caden Anderson. You guys were just trying all kinds of different lines. You almost went 3 wide a couple times. Tell us about that battle.
Well, it was really hard to get off the corner on the inside with somebody outside of you. So outside was definitely preferred when racing side by side. So it's kind of you get a run on somebody. You have to decide if you think it's worth the risk and try to actually maneuver it and not get past the guys behind you. So I think McKinney and Berg were a little bit faster, especially with the damage I had early on. And Actually, we all were a little bit quicker than Caden, but he ran a good race and didn't really make any mistakes, so there was nowhere to go.
All right, Seth. Well, one race left in the Northwest Tour, and still looking for that first win, but you're building some momentum going into the season finale at New Smyrna.
Yeah, last year at New Smyrna, me and Bart finished 1-2, and I like New Smyrna. I think I have a decent shot at it. I'm not really running for points or anything, so I'm gonna hang it all out next week or in 2 weeks and see what happens.
All right, well, we'll let you celebrate a well-earned third-place finish, but before you go, any shout-outs you want to give?
Just to BJ, follow us on. Cascade Championship Wrestling for on board, sponsor this tonight. You guys for broadcast, Carlos and Greg and Justin, and then all our sponsors. Joe's came on board and helped us out a bunch, and a bunch of other sponsors throughout the night, throughout the year. So it's been a good season, and we'll wrap it up here in a couple weeks.
All right, man. Seth Fraser, a hell of a battle here tonight. We'll let you go celebrate third place tonight, Seth.
Thanks, guys.
And Justin, I believe you've caught up with another guy with a well-earned podium tonight. Second place, Caden Anderson.
All right, there he is. Caden Anderson, 3YTV. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got a copy.
All right, well, great rebound in the second A main. Come home with second, and a hard-fought battle for that second place as well.
Yeah.
All right, well, again, kind of some contact earlier in the race with the 98 of Kingsbury happened in the first one and a little bit more in the second, but overall it seemed like that car had some good speed, and once it was at the front, it seemed almost unstoppable.
Yeah, it had really good speed in both races. The first race, it's hard to pass on the inside, so I knew I had to do something, hold them higher. I just accidentally overdrove it. In the second race, kind of the same thing happened, but in the opposite shoes. He was on the inside, I was on the outside, and it's hard to pass. Overall, it was a great night. Thank you to the sponsors for the race, and to BJ and everybody that's hosting the series, and you guys for announcing it.
Yes, sir. Well, one more race to go. We know you're not in the points battle at this point, but kind of get to go all for broke at New Smyrna for the final race of the season.
Yeah, I'm excited. I have a lot of laps around that track, and hopefully I can do the same I did here tonight, but come home with a win.
Yes, sir. Well, before we let you go, I want to give you a chance to shout out any sponsors that made this possible for you here tonight.
Only one, Kustom Fab for the paint scheme.
All right. Well, congratulations, Caden, on the second place finish, and we wish you the best of luck at the season finale at New Smyrna in 2 weeks' time.
Thank you.
All right, that was Caden Anderson, and Greg, I believe we've caught up with the race winner, if we can find him.
Yeah, see if we can track down James Paulson.
Sure that he's actually in the Discord at the moment, so... Excuse me, speak.
Yeah, looks like he's gone, so I don't believe we're going to be able to catch up with our winner, James Paulson, to get our thoughts with him for his second race of the season. So, want to wish James Paulson congratulations for his second win of the season. Justin, let's go through the results.
Yes, sir. Well, once again, James Paulson, your winner. Here tonight, Caden Anderson going to come home in the second position, Seth Fraser in third, Travis McKinney in fourth, and your champion, who was crowned here tonight, Jason Berg, going to come home with both a win and a top 5 here in the twin A main events here tonight. Bart Hector Jr. in 6th, Ted Shan in 7th, T. Tillman 8th, Andy Fuller 9th, and BJ Tidrick rounds out your top 10.
Coming home in 11th, the hard-fought battle for Kyle Lars, second in the first race, 11th tonight. So all in all, a solid night for him. Brad Morrison, Daniel Masters, Chris Walters with Christopher Heimer in the top 15. Rough night for Brian Payne in the 74. Brian Lambert, Adam Holm, Josh Robinson, Shane Quinn round out the top 20.
And then to round it all off here tonight, Mathew Kingsbury in 22nd, Jade Williams comes home in 22nd. All right, well, great race we saw here tonight, Greg, both races, and, well, we already know who the champion is, so we get to go into next week kind of just excited about the racing we're going to see.
I'm excited. A lot of guys were looking forward to New Smyrna, and just can you really think of a better race to end the season than in the great state of Florida, and just going to have a great, fun race coming up in 2 weeks' time, New Smyrna. Perfect track to end it all.
And the champion's already crowned, so now we just kind of sit back and enjoy the battle from 2nd to 11th, because it got a big shakeup tonight.
Yes, sir, it did. So with Sean Brightsman not being here, it'll be interesting to see the points look like once we get to New Smyrna in 2 weeks' time. That event is on March 24th, so mark your calendar there. We're off next week, and then we're racing for the final time this season at New Smyrna, 2 weeks' time. Hope to see you there. For Carlos Costa and Greg Rentz, I'm Justin Cole. We thank you for watching here tonight, and we hope to see you 2 weeks' time in Florida.